Long way, get this shit a long way, shit a long way. Long way, hit it long way, 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 shit long way, 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 shit a long way. Gotta get the shit a long way, get the shit a long way, gotta get the shit a long way, get the shit a long way. She don't really understand, man. Gotta know what she don't really understand, man. Gotta get a meal, but she don't understand. She be tripping every day, she be tripping every way. But I gotta get this shit a long way, tryna get money every single way, tryna get money every single day, yeah. Get money every single way, every day. Every day we gotta get paid, yeah. Every day we gotta get paid, yeah. I'm feeling like we be the new slaves, yeah. No, we gotta finish rich, no, we gotta finish rich. Got a new bitch, she don't understand, she don't understand, niggas gotta get rich. She don't understand, sometimes we gotta hit lit, no, we ain't hit lit. Tryna get the long way, yeah. Tryna get this shit the long way, yeah. Coach is tryna wrap up a entree, yeah. Told you the other day that did my palm strong. We gon' shoot the long way, we gon' get the long way, yeah. Yeah, get the shit the long way. My bitch be trippin' back and forth like a palm way. My name is Tari, I ain't playing games, so I'm done Tari. Yesterday she told me that she about to leave, man. I said fuck it, bitch, we gonna get some money. I said fuck it, bitch, I'm about to get some money. So what I do today, I went and got some money, yeah. Cause we gon' get this shit the long way, we gon' get shit the long way, yeah. Back and forth like the palm way, yeah. Man, I'ma get this shit the long way, get this shit the long way. Just the only way today, because they go with shit's crazy. You gotta wear a mask, we the new slaves, and we be wearing this shit like every day. We be okay, we gon' be okay, they gon' be okay, they gon' be okay for them, yeah. So we gon' get this shit the long way, 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 yeah, we get this shit the long way, yeah. Cause we gon' be okay, we gon' be okay, yeah, we gon' get the long way, yeah.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome to another edition of Savings Minus Debt. I'm your host and founder of SMD, and I'm here to share my gift. And my gift is that I understand that capitalism is psychological. And with knowing that, you have an unbelievable freedom that I could never describe to you, or because you got to feel it. So using words doesn't justify it, right? But it's an unbelievable freedom with knowing that, and also knowing that it's all mathematically true. So it is true, right? Which allows SMD to be in a different dimension. Okay. And when I say dimension, not only financially, but through your whole entire life, your whole life is just different. Okay. And everybody, you know how people talk about being on different vibrations, right? You know, it's like vibration. So when you guys listen to my voice, all right, just listen to it. I hope it doesn't sound like I'm guessing at what I'm saying. I want to make sure that's clear. I want you guys to understand that what I'm saying are mathematical facts. So it's not a guess, it's not a theory, but you can really determine that as you listen to my voice. It doesn't sound unsteady, like I found this information on the internet or something, just making it up. With that comes, like I said earlier, it comes with this type of freedom, and the freedom is owning yourself. living in this dimension, you now understand what it means to own yourself. And so when you turn around and look at the majority that do not own themselves, aka debt slaves, you will now realize that they live in a totally different dimension. Things, all the things that are not mathematically true, that's a different dimension. So when you get information from people that do not own themselves, aka debt slaves, the only perspective you're getting it from is from a debt perspective. Money, relationships, uh, part of the country you live in is better than the other. You know what? The, you gotta always remember, like when you on this in this dimension, you don't listen to you don't listen to debt slave perspectives. That doesn't make any sense. You don't listen to people that do not own themselves and don't even know they don't own themselves. So you don't you will never take relationship advice from a person in the debt dimension, because of course their perspective is going to, and that's what dimensions really are to me. Okay, I'm not no psychologist, and I'm just giving you my opinion, right? uh that are dimensions are different psychological perspectives. Okay, and the only reason why I know that, because I live in a different dimension than debt slaves. I know that. And this is what I mean. So debt slaves that are listening, uh so you guys can understand. Okay, and I always just use the same example because it's the best one, because millions of you guys do this, right? Now, if you think you're a homeowner with a mortgage, open up your calculator, put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance, and then hit equal. As you look at the large negative number on your calculator, I want you to just listen to me. If you believe you bought a house with the amount of money that you see on the calculator, that means you live in a different dimension than I, because you believe something that's clearly not mathematically true. I don't live there. You do. The calculator is clearly showing you that's not mathematically true. And this is what I mean. So once you live in the dimension, and and when I say a different dimension, it is, if the calculator says it's true, it's true, because the laws of mathematics cannot be broken. So you're probably thinking, well, that means there's millions of people that believe they bought houses with mortgages. Yeah, I know that. Like, yeah, I'm sure you're probably saying that to yourself. Well, if that's true, all these people, that's true. Yeah, they all believe they bought a house with a mortgage. What's your point? You know what that's called? That's called the housing market. That's what that's called. There's nothing wrong with that. Who cares? It doesn't matter what the people in that dimension believe. That's what they're supposed to believe. I understand the rules. I do. And it's okay, because it's all a choice. Now, I've been struggling with, it's weird. I don't really know how to explain it, but after a while, I get tired of talking about the things that are done to you financially in the dimension you live in. Right? It's when you live outside that dimension, you just look and say, "Oh, that's how they steer you guys. That's how they make you think this and do that." And I mean, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just amazing to watch. Like you can like I can clearly see credit reports are simply owner ledgers. That's clear. It's like, oh, okay, you log in, see, those are all the people you owe money to, and they own you until you pay them the money back. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Now, but when you're in the dimension you live in, you worship the credit gods. Can't get nothing without credit. Can't buy a house, car, land, nothing. You can't do any. And that's what you're supposed to believe. I get it. I totally get it. Totally understand it. Nothing's wrong with it. I don't care what the banks do, what their interest rates are, what kind of buildings they have, if they got gold layered ceilings. Who cares? I don't care. That's hey, they got the money to do it. Do it. Shit. Who cares? When you live here, you so so when you understand this, your whole life will change forever because you will know right away if you own yourself, right there, you are automatically know that you are different than millions of people, millions. Once you just by simply getting to zero, that means you own you. And then, I mean, when you get to zero, you don't realize that you live in a different dimension at that moment. It takes a moment to even get close to the level of what I'm talking to you right now today. Not even man. So when you understand that the people that don't own themselves, they're debt slaves. So the only perspective they can have is from a debt perspective of their entire life. Their entire life, their whole entire life will be based on that. I promise you that. That's what credit reports really are. It's a record of how not only is it a owner's ledger, it's a record of how you've been treating the business of yourself, you, the business of you. Now, if I didn't live in a different dimension, there was no way I would have ever in a million years would have saw that. I've never hey, well, one look at my record, clearly it will show if I understand how it works or not. Your credit report shows if you know capitalism is psychological or not. How do I know this? Because when you look at my credit report, there's no businesses on there that own me. That's how you know. That's a record of you. How you been treating yourself? Have you been you running? Are you running like a debt slave from collect? Like when you run from bill collectors, that's like no different. You're just a debt slave running and waiting 7 years to for things to drop off your credit report. When you live in this dimension and you say like you're dating someone, here, let me yeah, I'm gonna give you an example. Say like you understand that capitalism is psychological now, okay? And you are going out on a date. Since you live in a different dimension, you're gonna hear things very differently now. You're gonna hear you if they roll up in a nice car, you're gonna listen for them to mention a car payment. Uh, if you go out to dinner, if you guys go out to dinner and he or she, it doesn't matter, does anything work related at the dinner table on that phone, they're out. You'll know right away, oh yeah, none of that. My life, no, we don't do any of that. Give away because you will know that by doing that, when you like say like you're out on your own time and you do something work related, you just gave away the time in your life for free because your job is not paying you for that. When you understand this, You don't ever do that. That never happens anymore. Once once you once I broke the 40-hour work week program, because it is a program, right? The only way I could do that, the only way I could break the 40-hour to even ever knew or know that the 40-hour work week was a program, I had to first quit my job with no back. Hey, listen, no backup plan of anything. Now I don't know why something told me to do it, but I had to do it. I was running through my mind. What about the backup plan? What if I'm gonna be on the streets and all this other stuff? Where you learn all that stuff? TV? TV said if you lose your job, you're gonna be living under a bridge. Only if you believe that. I'm just here to tell you, only if you believe that. If you believe everything you see on TV, that's your problem. I know TV, like when you understand capitalism and psychological, I know TV will make you believe that everybody on the streets are drug addicts and no. Hey, listen, maybe part of that is true, but the majority of just like you, they don't their whole entire lives. The majority of them didn't know they're debt slaves. Probably still don't know today why they are there. You think people living on the streets don't have college degrees? Is that what you think? You think the people you see living under bridges and on the streets didn't one day have a house? Who's living there? All those people that you see, they were once young people. Do you guys understand that? They were once young people. Do you think the young people today are aspiring to be those people, the people living under the bridge? Where do you think they started? Better stop believing everything the TV you see. Hey, those are private businesses. Hey, I don't care what they show. That they own them. They own the TV screens. I don't care. All right, click, just turn it off. I just turn it I don't even watch the news. The only thing I do is watch you guys. Just you, just watch the way they do you. Because you live in a different dimension than I. My dimensions is based on mathematical truth. That's what that's based on. That means if I believe in math, that means if I believe the mathematics, that means I'm never wrong because math is never wrong. That's the dimension I live in today. Hey, it's still like this. Somebody says, because you got let me use one of the things that debt slaves love to do called house hacking, where they finance a duplex, live in on one side, and put a renter in the other. You guys always say the same thing. First of all, you don't even know a mortgage can't buy anything. You don't even know that. Second of all, the majority of the people you hear say that, all you got to do is turn to them and say, "Do you have student loans? Do you have car payments? Did you finance that phone in your hand?" Yeah, that's why you think you're house hacking. You're not house hacking anything. You're the currency that slaves you. No currency, the gold, silver, all that stuff doesn't even exist for you because it's you. Because it's you. You're the currency. It's you. You think I knew that when I was in the debt matrix? I didn't know you can't see. I didn't know you couldn't invest in a retirement plan while having a mortgage. You think I knew that? No, because everybody around me was doing it. I didn't know no one gets a finance car on sale. I didn't know that. Why didn't I know that? Because the millions of people around me believe they are. So I just went with it, even though it wasn't mathematically true. And again, I don't care. I don't care what car lots do. I don't care what the banks do. I don't care what the housing market does. I don't care because it's all a choice. If you believe you can invest while having a mortgage, while having student loan debt, that's on you. You just live in a different dimension than I. And your dimension, listen, believe it or not, your dimension that you live in is very important. That is very, very important. And I understand this. You come on this side, you're like, oh, that's the purpose of taxes. Got it. Ah, because if you didn't force them to play, they wouldn't. Got it. Oh, it's the backbone of the whole entire system. Yes. These are the rules here. This is how I look at it now. Okay. It's crazy. First of all, I was born here. Okay. That means that capitalism was already here. Okay. If I just had somebody just to say, hey, here are the rules. Always trust the laws of mathematics. You know, nobody ever told me that. Nobody ever said anything remotely to that in my entire life. I had to discover this myself. Do you understand me? I had to discover this myself. If I didn't go through the steps with no help, no YouTube channel, no person like me don't even know where to look. If I didn't go through these steps myself, I wouldn't be here on the mic today because I wouldn't have known psychological capitalism exists. So I wouldn't be able to tell you about it. Once you live in this dimension, your whole energy is going to change because the world becomes quiet because you will no longer, listen, you will no longer be in the same dimension as debt slaves. So you can choose to hear them, or the majority of them, you just ignore them. Like here, let me give you an example. The majority that listen to gossip are debt slaves. The purpose of that's why gossip is so big, because it allows them an escape temporarily from their own lives. It's easy to judge other people's lives when you don't have any emotional attachments to it. That's easy. It's like, oh yeah, you can judge a person and what they should do, what they shouldn't do, because you have no emotionally attachment involvement in that situation. But when you come back to your own life, you do. That's why gossip is popular. That's why and that's okay. That's all part of whatever. It doesn't matter. But when you understand that that's a different dimension, you don't hear that kind of stuff anymore. So the world gets quiet. You don't really pay attention to the news because you know who it's for, and you don't really you don't watch commercials anymore because you know who commercials are for. Insurance and all this stuff, you just it's bombarded to you. You don't really realize it when you're in that dimension because you think commercials and stuff are normal. But when you come out, you say, oh, those commercials are not for me. No, they're not for you anymore. They're for debt slaves. Talking about refinancing houses, buying cars, 72 months, same as cash. Those kind of commercials, none of those, like, that's called business. What they're saying, none of it's mathematically true. You're not saving anything. None of that is mathematically true. None of it. But that's okay. That's okay. It's just business. It's nothing personal. I just know that commercial is not like when I see a brand new Cadillac Escalade come in 0% financing for 72 months with $5,000 cash back. None of that is mathematically true. So I know they're not talking to me. That's not true. Nobody, when you finance a car, nobody gets a finance car on sale of anything. And if you're paying on a car for 72 months, one car for 72 months, 6 years, that's a different problem. I would never pay. No, don't get me wrong. In the debt matrix, I did it. In this dimension, there's no way in a million years I would ever do that, ever. Exactly, Malika. I'm telling you, the world becomes quiet. Now, living in this dimension, it takes balls because there's more debt slaves than not. They get angry, they get mad. You just got to say, I don't really care what you think, debt slaves. Now, it's totally up to you if you allow yourself when you come over here. It's up to you to if you're going to allow the debt slaves to see you. I don't unless they come to this channel. When I'm walking around, debt slaves don't know who I am. They don't know what I know. They don't know what I see. They don't know unless I open my mouth and say something in public, which I do not. Yeah, look at how your credit score went down. The average person would have flipped out. You are not average, and we all love that about you. It's when I saw that, I actually laughed, honestly. I said, I thought to myself, while I was in debt, my credit score always remained in the 700s, always. The minute I get out of debt and don't and own myself now and don't use it, now that's the first time I've ever seen my credit score in the 600s. The very first time ever. And it's funny. I'm just laughing. Oh, okay. But you guys got to understand though, when the credit agencies look at my credit report, they know that I know by looking at the credit report. They know that I know that capitalism is psychological. Of course they know. You guys, the majority of you will never, ever, ever, ever find a credit report that looks like mine ever. I'm not saying that to brag. I want you guys to understand something. I am not saying that to brag. I'm just saying that it's because I live in a different dimension than you. And my credit report is proof. My credit report says I own me. I understand that capitalism is psychological. I understand that. Therefore, I live in a different dimension than you in my whole entire life, in every aspect of my life, everything. I understand that time is the most valuable currency on earth. It's time. And when you're a debt slave, you don't know that because you don't own the time in your life. The businesses on your credit report do. Those businesses listed, they own the time in your life until you pay them back. Nothing wrong with it. Hey, I'm not nothing bad about the companies. I'm not saying anything evil. They're doing something bad and big bad wolf. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just telling you something. Now, if you're listening, say like you're a person, and there's many of you, okay? There's many of you that have, and it's clear that you have. There's clear. This is, and I'm gonna point this out to you so you guys can really understand something, okay? There's many of you that have given up psychologically on ever paying off your student loan debt. You have checked out of that and said, I'm just going to die with, because you guys say that all the time. You guys do say, oh, I'm gonna die with it. Everybody has it, blah, 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 right? If you are one of those people, you you will never be able to know or feel what I'm talking about, because that would be against the laws of mathematics. Now, even me even saying, because I know this for a fact, because like when you put your student loans into student loan forgiveness type of blah blah blah, where you only start paying $5 a month for whatever time limit, that right there is an indication. Because if they say, hey, you be part of this program, you're here between 10 to 25 years of your life. I mean, you're just hearing these years of, and you're saying, okay, okay, okay. That says I've given up on ever paying back my student loan debt. That's what that says. So that's how I know this for a fact. So that's how I know for a fact that is millions of you guys have done that. You guys have given up on that. All I'm saying is that if you have, you can never own the time of your life ever. Therefore, you'll never know the dimension that I live today and the SMD family members live. To even, when I think about that, to even know that kind of, I feel, I don't want you guys to think I'm feelingless. Okay. I'm not feelingless. It's because when I think about that kind of just like, man, because I can't describe to you what it's like to live in this dimension. And again, dimensions are different psychological perspectives. Okay. That's all a dimension is to me. And the dimension and the perspective I live in says mathematics says everything is correct. Everything. If debt slaves are the currency, that means they have no money. Nope. Then what are they using to invest in the stock market? Who knows? Whatever they believe they are. Therefore, what? The stock market really doesn't exist. No, it doesn't. Not for them. Not in the way they think. Not in the way for debt slaves. I mean, when you go log in and look at the NASDAQ, and yes, it's physically there. Yes. But you don't know that if you have a student loan debt, you can't invest in the stock market, yet millions of you do. Okay? That's what I mean. Now, if millions of you guys woke up and said, hey, wait a minute, I can't do that. That's not mathematically true. Guess what? The stock market disappears instantly. I don't want that. It doesn't even matter if I say it out loud. It doesn't matter. You guys can't hear me because it's against the laws of mathematics for you too. When you your whole everything changes. Your day to day, especially when when you find out the 40-hour work week is a program, you're gonna be like, man, Saturday and Sunday were never special. Nope. They're just days of the week. Then you look at the clock and say, because when you're in a debt matrix, you always hear the people say, hey, a clock is man-made. The clock is man. You don't really know what that means when somebody says that, right? You don't know what that means. Hey, the clock is man-made. Well, of course, look, it's the clock. Of course the man made it. You don't know what to think, but when you come out from that dimension into the proper dimension, you're like, oh, that's what that means. Because when you own the time of your life, you don't have to go by that clock. I always tell people, I remember feeling bad when I first got out the debt matrix. I started losing track of time. That didn't happen. That losing track of time didn't happen until I quit my job, right? Because when you have a job, you rely on the clock. You got to be to work at 8. You got to, you know, like when I think about it now, like when I'm driving to work, I'm looking at the clock. As soon as I wake up at 6, I'm looking at the clock. I got to be at the door at this time. The clock is, then I got to be, the traffic starts at this time. I got to hurry up and I got to be at work at this time. And then I go to break at this time. And then I go to lunch at this time. Then I get off at this time. Then I got to get to all used by the clock. But when I quit my job, I didn't use the clock. And so I started feeling bad. I was like, damn, I never know what time it is. I was withdrawing from that. So just to think about it today is just hilarious. It takes an adjustment to come to the to come. It's crazy to even say it out loud. To come to to come to the dimension of mathematical facts, I have to adjust. It's just crazy to say that. It's like if I said to somebody, "Hey, 1 + 1 = 3," everybody would look at me like I'm bananas. Like, what is something wrong with you? You on drugs, right? But yet I thought I can buy a house with a mortgage. It may it, Once you cross over to this dimension, you'll be like, when you drive down the street, you see cars. You can drive through the nicest of neighborhoods of wherever you live. The majority of the houses you see, no matter the neighborhood, are bank owned. If they have a mortgage, it doesn't matter who's living in it. Doesn't matter what they're doing to pay the mortgage. It doesn't matter. They're just like you guys are all the same. It doesn't matter if you're paying a mortgage in a bad neighborhood and somebody's paying a mortgage in a good neighborhood. You guys are the same. You guys just live. You guys just live in different neighborhoods. If they're driving a Tesla Plaid and you got a used 2005 Honda Accord, but you guys are both making payments, you guys are just with two different cars making payments. The per the person driving the Tesla Plaid making payments, he's not saving money on gas. He's making payments. But in your dimension, you see that and you think they're doing better than you. If you guys believe that, the 9 times out of the 10, this is what you guys really don't understand. 9 times you can't really see that. The person with the older car making less of money is in a better shape than the person you're looking at and trying to be. They're in deeper debt than you. They just can afford bigger payments. When you live in this dimension, everything's different. You don't look at people's cars and houses and their jewelry or what they show you on Facebook and Instagram. You just don't. You don't. To me, unless I see your personal credit report, I don't care what you show me. It doesn't matter what I see, what you should like. I don't care what kind of house you live in, what part of the country you live in. I need to see your personal credit report. I need to see if you own yourself. That's how you'll be able to tell instantly. instantly. What's up, Wayman? It's Gabriel, Sewer Rat. That's the world you'll live in. And that's how it'll be for the rest of your life. There's no going back at all. Once you cross, that's it. Ain't no going back. You look at it totally different. Everything's different. You can't unknow. Once you find this too, you get a certain type of peace in your life. This is the very important part that you guys got to understand with living in this type of dimension. You get an unbelievable type of peace in your life. And no matter the situation, you will never let anybody destroy it. Just no, not destroy it, but disturb it, because you're going to know you'll never forget what you had to do to get it. You'll never forget it. Because usually emotions sometimes will override people's logic. It's like say like you're with somebody and they fool around on you. And I'm giving you from this dimension now, okay? So you guys can understand what I mean. Say like you're with somebody and they fuck around on you, have sex with another person, and then you find out. Now, this is something very difficult, but I'm just giving you from a different dimension perspective so you can understand. Instead of responding like, "Oh my God, how dare you? I can't believe you did that." You from this perspective, you say, "Thank you for showing me that you're not the person I'm supposed to be with." Why? You just shared your body with another person. That's not what I want in my piece. Goodbye. Because when you find another person that understands that, not only will they not fuck around on you, they can't fuck around on you. But when you look at stuff like that, you just, it's no different than say like here's another one. Say like man or woman too. I want to make sure it's clear, man or woman. Say like you're with somebody and you guys are having an argument and one of you slaps the other in the face. Now you can let the person getting slapped can do two things. Do the natural response, get emotional and say, "Oh my God, how dare you?" This and that, and run off and tear up some shit. Or you can say, "Thank you for showing me that you're not the person I'm supposed to be with." How do I know this? Because you slapped me. To me, if I can't slap you, physical violence is not even supposed to happen, but I'm just giving you from a different perspective, okay? If the person can put their hands on you, that's obviously not the person you're supposed to be with, because you don't do that to them. But when your emotions are involved, it overrides logic. Oh, maybe that was an accident. Maybe this was a one-time occurrence. No, that's a no. And you always got to look at yourself, always, because people like that try to gaslight you or whatever, right? You always have to say this to yourself. Can anybody, and I'm gonna use this as an example of myself. There has never been a time in my life that I was with a woman that she made me mad enough to slap her in her face. That has never happened, ever. And in real life, that has never even come to my mind to do that to a woman. That just because she's, hey, your mama ain't shit. Your kids don't love you. I don't, and I know it's me because I'm just a confident person. Stuff like that don't bother me because I know the purpose of you saying that. Just because what they're saying doesn't mean it's true. That's how I look at it. That's just me, right? But you could see people, people that go deeper and deeper when you don't respond. I just walk away. I just leave. Because if I'm not there, you have nobody there to do it too. And by me leaving says you can't do it to me. But you have to, when you live in this dimension, you got to be strong. I mean, the way I'm saying it, I'm sure I'm making it sound easy because, you're with somebody, you got, let me give you another example. Say like you're with them and you guys been together for, few years, 5, 6, 7 years. And, you might have kids together and you got just got stuff together and you live together. And then all of a sudden, one of the man or woman slaps the other one, especially men. You guys just, I'm telling you, uh, and slaps the other one. Things don't happen instantly. Like your emotions will make you believe, like, oh, I'm gonna pack a bag and I'm gonna get the hell out of here. No, you're gonna be back because you just can't leave that fast. In your mind, you have to make up in your mind and say, yeah, I'm not allowing that in my life. That's when it starts. It starts in your mind. First, you have to make up your mind that is not allowed in your life ever. When you come to this dimension, I promise you, you won't allow that. People who own themselves and own the time in their life, they don't allow that. Now I always think back at the people that were really uh, anal about the time, being on time, you know, hey man, oh, why you tripping up? Because I'm 5 minutes late. Now I really understand those people. Why? Okay, I got it. They wasn't being a-holes, they were just respecting their time because when you're here, you always make sure not only to respect your own time, to respect other people's time. If you guys listen, this is what I want you guys to really understand something, okay? What I do, I don't tolerate that. I just don't. So I noticed this. I noticed this. Like when you go to certain channels, they will tell you that the show is going to start at this time. And then you go there and they're always late, coming in late, and still go through the whole intro of the whole thing. So now not only, and you got to remember, if you are there at 10, everything, all the rest of the time in your life is out of your control. Now you put it in the control of them. Because say like you was there and you had an hour to listen to the show. And then the host comes in at 15, 20 minutes later, hey, sorry, you guys, and then runs through the intro. You're like, what? Okay, once, maybe. Okay, cool. Because it happens, right? But then you see it happens every single time. What do you, that's not allowed. That should tell you, that should tell you how they respect their own time. When you see that, when you see it happening repeatedly, you know that that's what they're doing in their personal life because they're doing it to you. When I see something like that from somebody doing a show like that, I uncheck and I'm like, oh no, I'm never going to a live there. I'll catch the show. That way I can just come in, go to the part where I want to go to. No, those kind of things tell, if you really pay attention. Now, if that happens in your life and you believe black people time and all this stupid nonsense, man, laugh and joke about it. Hey, the people that are doing it, I guess it's funny to them. I ain't gonna lie. Whenever I hear that stupid shit, black people time, I be like, I start laughing about it. I'm like, what are you laughing about? Dead slaves laugh about that. It don't matter the color of your skin. Dead slaves laugh about that. Even that, when you come to this side, it's like you have to detach your emotions to all the stuff that dead slaves do in their dimension. You have to just detach it. And when I say detach, you have to, when you watch, you go to podcasts, you watch videos, you see all this stuff in there. You got to, I mean, it'll naturally happen, but everything you see is a stage. Those are all stages. No different than a TV show you're watching. What you see within that camera lens has been staged for your viewing, entertainment, pleasure. No different than a TV show, the Cosby Show. When I was a kid watching the Cosby Show, I really believed that was their house. In my mind, that was their house. When they went up the stairs, I really believed that they were going to their room upstairs. Whenever they were in the kitchen talking, I really believed they were in the kitchen. And then whenever they went out to the backyard, I really believed that was a backyard. No different. Now I'm gonna put this link in here if you guys have any questions. I don't know. Things are it's just sometimes I'll be trying to, and I thank you guys that send me stuff, LJ, have you heard of this? In the email and links to stuff. After a while, not saying it's repetitive from you, I'm just saying it's repetitive of what they do to dead slaves. When I see that stuff now, I just say, okay, what are they trying to make them do now? No, not make them do. Which way are they steering them? Why are they giving them hope? Oh, it's getting closer to election time, giving them hope about student loan forgiveness. Okay, whatever. Hey, whatever they got to do what they need to do. Cosmic, exactly right. It's people. Once you understand that you guys are the currency, once you really understand that, which it took a long time for me to accept that. I had to understand psychologically that you guys are the currency. Is you. You're the equity. You're the appreciation. You're everything. Because the housing market couldn't exist without you. Once you really just like see it, you're like, wow. That it's like to see them pack 100 houses on a lot and make them individually apart for just within feet of each other. You guys each believe you own a house. That is just bananas. What's up, Arlene?
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good. I'm good. How
Good.
are you?
I just wanted to jump in and just say hi.
Good. I'm glad you did. I want more people to do that. Thank you for
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah, I jumped in to say hi. I'm off today, but I'm on today. You know, debt slave, working.
On the
So
day, but off the day. I don't even know what that
yeah,
means.
yeah. No, I'm a union person, and we have an event, so I have to go and take care of stuff for the event. But it's all good. You know, it's part
Gotcha.
of what I do. So
Gotcha.
you know, in the end, with everything that you discuss, you know, being a debt slave and having the
Mhm.
awareness, I for what it's worth, I'm just grateful. I'm just grateful to have the awareness and to be able to listen to you and
Mhm.
hear what you're saying, and just, you know, just the idea of making plans for myself and for my future.
Right.
What I'll say is, where you and I had a consultation, we talked.
Mhm.
I don't plan to quit my job, but I am going to retire. And what I'm finding is that the idea of leaving, let it be retirement or other,
Mhm.
everyone around me think I'm crazy. But what it is that um I'm not connected to staying, you know, like I'm
Right.
not connected to keeping this house. I'm not, you know, I'm
Right.
okay with the next phase of my life. But it's
What
funny,
what how many years is retirement?
3, less than 3,
And when do you plan on paying off your house?
within that time.
Within that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay. All
you
right.
know, within that time.
No, I get it.
Um,
Okay, that's a good plan. I ain't gonna lie.
yeah,
That's a good plan.
yeah, that's the
I
plan.
thought you would if you would have said, I plan on paying my house off this year, I would have told you you were not gonna make it 2 more years. Guarantee. Like
No.
if you were paying off your house, say like you said, I'm about to pay my house off in 2 months, right? I could tell you right now, there is no way you would make it 2 years to retirement. I guarantee it.
Yeah, no.
You wouldn't make it. You'd be like, I can't take this. I cannot take it.
Yeah, no. It's all within the time frame. You
Yeah,
know.
that's a good plan. I like that though. That's a good
Hmm.
plan.
But like what I recognize is that like, not to say it's a dream and my goals, but I recognize I have to stop talking to other people, because
Mhm.
they're immediately going to be negative. Like, that's the first immediate
Yes.
response. Like, no way. Like, what are you talking about? You're
Right.
leaving this job, you're leaving this career, you're leaving this
Mhm.
high paid XYZ. But I shared with you, I don't want to do it anymore. I'm just ready for something else in my life, you know?
Mhm.
So I've kind of started saying, like, I don't want to be a W-2 employee anymore. I want to be
Mhm.
a 1099. Like, I've
Correct.
acknowledged that. I acknowledge that.
That's how
So
it happens, and
yeah.
that's what I want you to do. It's like there's a couple things you got to remember. The debt slaves are the majority, so you can't talk. It's gonna just you're gonna get negative. You know it's gonna happen. So save yourself the problem and
Yeah.
just not talk about it, right? And during this time, while you're going towards retirement, paying off your house, start thinking about what you want to do that would fulfill you, and just figure out how to make money from it. That's all. It could, don't put limits on it. It could be the biggest thing. I know. Just think about it this way. When I say SMD is going to be worldwide, I'm going to be known. Can you imagine how many people think I'm crazy?
Yeah. 100. Yes.
Oh, who does he think he is? He got to be
Yeah.
crazy. But I don't care what they think, because I know, right?
Yeah.
So
Well,
you think the same way. That's what you think. That's what you
Well,
do.
it becomes difficult because you want to talk, right? You're talking to people every day, all day. So the
Right.
people in your immediate circles, you know, you want to talk, and it's just
Right.
kind of, not say it becomes difficult to hold, but it's just interesting. Just, I don't know, just the idea that I just recognize that I'm in a different mind frame right now, and I'm okay
A
with
different
that.
dimension.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna have to accept that there's gonna be longtime friends are gonna fall out of your life. It's gonna happen. I'm telling you, there's no way you can stop, especially if they're in the debt matrix. They're gonna start thinking that, oh, she thinks she's better than me. She's trying to down talk me. They just start doing that. And then you just gotta go, okay, well, all right, see you later.
Yeah. What's funny is not that it's funny, but the YouTube channel I had that is no longer active, and like all those old videos I have, right?
Mhm,
Obviously I kept all the old videos. And
mhm,
I recently been looking at a lot of the videos, you know, for different reasons, but it's interesting because I started the channel 10 years ago. So 10 years ago, 2012. So
mhm,
the idea to think that I started this video vlog journal about myself and my life, and like I kind of stopped because it was becoming difficult to kind of keep the two worlds separate.
Mhm.
However, those videos are very significant to me because it's able to show me my time frame and what
Mhm.
I was already thinking years ago, 10 years ago,
Mhm.
so it's really, I treasure the idea that I shared myself to the world
Yeah.
and I have that as a reflection. Yeah, I do, and I'm grateful for that.
One thing I love about that, and that's a good idea, and you should it, to be able to talk to people, stuff like that. The one thing I love about my videos, which you guys helped me do that, is that when I go back and look at my old videos before I started, I can actually now see
Yep.
my transition to where
Yep.
I'm at today. And it's kind of it's an amazing to watch. It's like when I'll hear myself talk, and then I'll say to myself as I'm watching myself, oh yeah, I said it that way because I didn't know this yet.
Yep. Yep.
You know, and then
Exactly.
it just, it's because when you were going back through my old ones, right, and you were sending me links to the, I would go back and watch them. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
dang,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, that's the thing too. Like if I enjoy somebody content,
Mhm,
I'm always curious to go back to the beginning. Like I'm looking at you now, but it's
mhm.
definitely a beautiful journey to go back to the beginning. And so I mean you have so many videos and it's just really cool to go through your library of videos. It really is.
I
So
mean, it's fun going through it myself. I just, you know, and if you do that, like whatever that comes, whatever your thing's gonna be, right? I think just videos are really good because you get to. It's cool to be able to see yourself and you just do it, whatever that's gonna be. Try not to think about how it's gonna be, money or whatever, right? Just do it, and it's gonna happen because you're gonna naturally gonna transition. You're gonna say, in order for me to own the time of my life, I have to go 1099. I have to,
correct, correct,
right?
correct,
And
correct,
there's no other way because you can't do it with a job. That's impossible.
correct,
So you're gonna
correct.
start. So just start thinking about it now as because you don't want to wait to the last minute. Just do the 3 years while you're doing your house and everything, and just
Well, it's funny because again, the idea that I couldn't stay, or at least I didn't feel comfortable staying on YouTube.
Mhm,
I knew I was bigger then. I knew I was big. I recognized that I was limiting myself because of
mhm,
I had myself in a box for multiple reasons,
mhm.
and I recognize that I'm bigger than the box.
Yes, for sure. I like that. I like that, right? Because they always say, think outside the box. Well, I'm bigger than the box. I like that. I like that. I'm already outside the box because I'm bigger than the box.
Yeah, for sure, for
But next time
sure.
somebody says, "Hey, think outside the box," I'm like, I'm already outside the box.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
And
you
that's a
got to
beautiful
remember that.
thing.
You got to remember
Hmm.
that you have the advantage. I mean, you got to really because your house is your last thing,
Yes,
right?
yes,
So you already
100%.
have the advantage as we speak, right?
100%.
A
100%.
house is just going to 100 times that what you have
Yeah.
today, right?
Mhm.
It's gonna because you're gonna know that to be what it takes to be a true homeowner, and you're gonna be different than millions of people immediately. So that's gonna give you right there is gonna give you this type of energy that's gonna push you even more to find whatever Arlene's thing is gonna be. It's out
Yeah.
there. I believe
Oh,
everybody has it.
I kind of already figured it out.
Okay.
So, but again, it's I'm in these parameters because of my career right now.
Correct.
Right now.
No,
But I'm okay.
it starts mentally. You already got the wheels in motion, right? The physical comes after the mental. So
Mhm.
now that you've already shifted, everything else is gonna fall into place. That's how it did for me.
Correct.
There's no
Correct.
it's not it didn't tell me like, hey LJ, if you quit your job in 2016, I'm gonna help you understand that capitalism is psychological in 2000. It does, it just doesn't happen like that.
Correct. Correct.
So
Yeah. I'm grateful. I'm grateful, and I'm happy I caught you this morning. I was just getting ready, and I saw you, and I clicked, and it was, I enjoy listening to you because your videos is not necessarily I have to sit and stare at you. I could just listen. I could just
right.
listen. So
Right.
I have you playing often in my background. So thank you for
Good.
that.
Yeah.
And
I like
and
it when
that's the
people tell me that.
and that's the thing. Like every video that I watch of yours, I walk away with some new nugget. I really do. I do
And that's why I make them because I really make them for you guys to make your journey easier
for
because
sure.
you can't get these answers. The answers you're gonna be looking for now, you can't Google them. What are you gonna put in Google? Google is gonna respond with, "Why are you asking me that?" I don't
Okay, but it's what like within the fire within me as far as being debt free and
Mhm,
just like again like you with Dave Ramsey, I'm just grateful that my view of debt is the way it is,
mhm,
and I just smile with the student loans and just how crazy. I won't deny it. I was obsessed with paying them off and I did it, and
mhm,
so I'm in the same mind frame with this home,
mhm.
the mortgage house.
Yeah,
So,
it happened
you
to me
know.
when I got that same something told me pay off that student loan. I had it
Yeah.
for 10 years, and, it's just when I think back at it now, it's just crazy to think about that I thought it was normal just to have student loans and make the monthly payments like it was just nothing. It's crazy to think about today.
Well, in the idea, like how you always say, it's business. It's not personal. It's
Yeah, it's
business,
not
and you're
personal, it's
right
business. Yeah.
because if the real numbers of math was done the right way, I should have
Mhm.
never been able to get this house
True, exactly,
with
but then
with the
again
student loans on my. I had the student loans at the time.
but
However,
you gotta remember if they deny mortgages to people with student loan debt, that would be a problem because there would be no houses being sold.
correct, correct,
A
but
large Can you imagine the portion of houses that would disappear? Oh my God, that would be
But that's
very
the but that's the whole thing. Like once, like I was already paying the student loans, but like once I got into this house, I said to myself, "There's no way I can have all this freaking debt. Like no way, no way." And so I
yeah.
just got crazy. I was a crazy woman paying off these student loans, and then I was paying, doing a lot to the mortgage. But upon listening to you, it's
Mhm.
added another layer of the the fire, the focus. So,
Well, I remember when I was younger, I remember I first got a house, which I shouldn't have got. When I think about it now, it was horrible, right? But I remember when I finally got one, because everybody said, get a house, stop
yep,
throwing away your money on rent
yep.
and all this stuff. And I remember getting it. And and when I was in it, I was like, okay, where's this feeling that I'm supposed to have to be a homeowner? Because
Yep,
I remember feeling the pressure of this debt on me. I
yep,
remember feeling it, but everybody was telling me this was the right move to do. So I'm supposed to be feeling this certain way, but I wasn't feeling that. I was feeling the pressure like you wouldn't believe
yep.
of
Well,
responsibility.
I mean, I've always been in, thankfully, again, being humble and grateful.
Mhm.
I've always been in a good position with this career financially. So I
Me
never
too.
was stressed out over income, but it's just the idea that I just knew not to put myself in a whole bunch of other debt. I just knew not to do that. So I'm in my fully paid Hyundai Santa Fe. It's mine. It's paid for. I don't have
Mhm.
any car payment. Like I don't have any other debts outside of this home. It's my
Right.
only
Yeah.
debt, and
And I was like
I'm
you. I
okay
was
with
the
that.
same way, good
So.
with money, but I had debt. I made my
Did I
payments
lose
on time
you?
and all
Did I
that stuff.
lose you? My hearing?
What happened?
Oh. Goodness me.
Can you hear me?
Fuck. I'm in the car. I lost you.
Oh, she can't hear me, but we can hear her.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. It just everything changes for you. I want people to really understand that it really does change for you, and that's what I do. Here, I always forget to do this. Let me put my email up to just in case you want to contact me. It's savingsminusdebt at gmail.com. Okay, savingsminusdebt at gmail.com. Oh, the audio took over. Okay. Yeah, you know what? Those were fun, but after after a while, you see the same things over and over again, it seemed like when they do the student loan ones, they always pick somebody very, very deep in debt, some ridiculous amount, 500,000, and then the same person is also getting Parent Plus loans because they gotta put their kids through college, and, you know, I can tell that it's designed to because the majority of people don't have $500,000 in student loan debt, right? So the majority of people who are watching are all saying to themselves, "At least I don't have that much." Right? Which makes them feel good. I mean, I get it. I get why they do it. I totally understand because they always pick a person like that. And everybody says, "Oh, at least I don't have that much." Oh, mine is only 40,000. Mine is only 30,000. Mine is only 50,000. They just, and it works. I get it. I totally get it. And then it makes the people watching feel comfortable about making payments on their student loan debt. But when I think back, just as a young person with student loan debt, right? I think to myself, how come I didn't question, like, I'm able to bankrupt all this other debt, but this debt? How come not this debt? How come I cannot bankrupt? I never asked that to myself. I just accepted that you couldn't. But why? Nobody said why. Consumer debt you can, but this debt you can't. Well, if debt is debt, how come I can do it with that debt, but not this debt? Now, when you're in it, you don't know to ask that question. You don't go, oh, just because. That's how they buy debt slaves. That's how they purchase you voluntarily by you. Only debt slaves believe they can go on vacation while having student loan debt. You can't do that. Anyway, thank you everybody for joining. Much appreciated. What'd you say there? I have to go, but everyone have a good day. Thank you for letting me come. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Welcome, Arlene. You are so welcome. Thank you for jumping on. I'd be looking for more participation, but I get it. I get it, and I accept it. I do. I understand that what I'm talking about, you never heard of. It's intimidating. You probably even get upset. It doesn't, but even if you're a person listening to this and you're getting upset, I want you to walk away with knowing. Always say this to yourself. If his math is correct, why am I upset? That's what I want you. Just keep repeating that to yourself over and over. If his math is correct, why am I upset? Okay, just repeat that. And then one day, hey, you never know, it might click. It might click. And those of you listen to this. Those of you listening to this video 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from 50 years from now, hell, when I'm long dead, everything I'm saying will be valid during your time too. It'll be exactly the same. Just different numbers, much higher numbers though. Just take what I'm telling you now, all right, but with higher numbers later. That's it. And, like at this particular time in this video, student loan debt is at 1.7 trillion. All right. So say like it's 10 years from now, it's probably 2.5 trillion. Who knows? It'll be up there. Okay. It'll be all the same. It really doesn't matter. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, well, how would he know that 20 years from now? How did he know when the person listened to it 20 years from now? How would he know that? He must have been some super genius. No, because math never changes. Math doesn't care about the year that it's talked about. Math doesn't care if it's 50 years from now. It's 1 + 1 = 2 50 years from now. I promise you. Math doesn't care how old you are when you say 1 + 1 = 2. The math doesn't care. What's your age got to do with skin color? Nothing. 2. You guys have a wonderful morning. Thank you for jumping up here, Arlene. Much appreciated. Cosmic, everybody that jumped in today. I always throw this out there. If here's my email one more time, SavingsMinusDebt. And if you guys can find some other podcasters that would love to maybe interview me, talk to me about psychological capitalism, please feel free to give them my email to contact me. and then we can go from there. But other than that, you guys have a wonderful morning. Later.